welcome to the Riffing Austin podcast.
Holy cow, we made it.
Finally, episode 1.
Well, after all of that freaking, all those cables and cords and cameras and the drive, we freaking did it. This is a big thing. I'm really excited, and I'm super excited to have Levi Bouska as our first real actual guest for the video podcast. I mean, we're gonna do a whole. Wait. We just did an intro that worked out really well. Yes, that was a great intro that we just did. We chopped it up and we put it in after.
But for episode 1, we have someone very special here. We are at the Butcher Barbecue in Wellston, Oklahoma.
Wellston, Oklahoma.
The world famous Butcher Barbecue.
Levi, how you doing, man?
Good, buddy. Thanks for doing this with me.
Dude, yeah. Well, I mean, you're the reason why we actually have these mics right now. So technical difficulties, your fault.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, honestly.
Now, whenever we, or anybody listening, whenever we decided we were going to do a podcast thing, I mean, I thought about it a long time, and I literally just hit up Levi, and I was like, hey, what if we did, and I don't even remember what I said, and without missing a beat, he was like, yeah, just come get the shit. just come on out and get all these. And then we went to your trailer, and you popped open that freaking door, and then it was like, it looked like a roadie lived in this little closet. Or this
it's like every poster from my childhood.
Oh, yeah.
It was the perfect man cave, but it was like a separate man garage.
There's a beer bong table.
Dude, I was in that trailer?
Yeah, I had to lift it off the mics.
There was a beer bong table in that trailer?
Yeah, a beer pong table. Yeah.
So how did you get all the equipment and why?
Me and my friend Tyler Perry started a podcast, and I don't even remember what we called it, but
I do.
Was it?
I did a little research. It was called Okie Dokie.
Yeah, the Okie Dokie podcast. Yeah. So we did like 6 episodes, and it never flurried out, so we just stopped doing it.
Yeah, I remember you showed me a while back, and I was like, that is a great idea. Dang it! And then whenever I was like, I want that. I want to do what he said. It's a good thing he's busy. I'm going to steal this idea. And so essentially, yeah, I just take from my friends.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's my thing.
It's all good.
So, Levi, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, kind of what you do, what you have going on here.
Where are you from?
Wellston, Oklahoma. No, man. So me and Austin went to elementary school together, and then he moved on to better things in Edmond. Because you get a decision when you're a child. No, I'm from here. There's another restaurant right next to this one that I grew up in. My grandparents bought it when I was 5. And so I've been around barbecue, and I became a butcher with my dad. And then I got divorced because this other bitch. And then I just really wanted to I was drinking a pitcher of beer down in Ho Chi Town, and there was like a feeling on the porch that I just had this like, man, I want to like be able to bottle this up and crack it open and share it with people whenever I could. And I was like, well, I have the gift of barbecue. And so I was like, maybe I could do that. And so I came back to the meat plant, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, man, I really want to open a barbecue restaurant. He's like, well, if anybody can do it, you could do it.
Wait, you said a meat plant?
Yeah, me and my dad had a meat processing plant. So we still did on the farm killing. So like you would book an animal with us. We go out, kill it, hang it, and then we would butcher it for you and then give it back to you.
That's pretty cool. When did the idea, around like what year was the barbecue idea?
2014. It was summer of 2014.
So how long has the butcher been open?
May 16th it'll be 7 years. So I started doing the build out when I was 24, and then when I opened the doors, March, April, I was 25 when it actually opened. And so that was 7 years ago this May.
Did you find it or did you have a lot of patience whenever it was coming to having the success you were hoping for?
Yeah, because I don't know, man. Like you just kind of put pussy on the pedestal and hope it shows up. And so I did, and I wasn't going to give up ever. And everybody always told me like, hey, it'll never work. Like you're too young, or you're in Wellston. Like there's no way a barbecue restaurant works 3 days a week.
How did the town feel about you? I mean, because I knew growing up here, like my dad being a pastor in the small town, like I know how people talk in small towns. So like, how'd they
So there was a local little restaurant downtown or whatever, and they were kind of throwing shade my way and saying they were going to buy all my smokers after I closed down because I wasn't going to survive and all this other stuff. And yeah, every time I see that guy taking the trash out at Costco, I'm just kind of like, fuck you.
No way.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he's well.
Yeah.
I hope he's enjoying it.
No, I mean, honestly, it's, I didn't set my goals super high because I didn't want to overpromise, underdeliver myself. And so, I don't know, man, I just kept my head down and just worked my ass off for a really long time. Didn't sleep. It would be way harder with the life I live now with my kids and everything. My wife, Lindley, was already my girlfriend at the time. And so I was like, hey, just so you know, you're about to be thrown into a whirlwind of craziness where I'm going to be working all the time. And she's like, well, I'm here. And so she's put up with it. And here we are, man.
Started it up. So, what are your dad's thoughts about it now, looking back?
I think he's proud. I hope he's proud. I don't know, man.
Freaking better be, man.
You know what I mean?
You don't talk to him about it too much?
No, not really. I mean, like, he'll have friends come through and he'll show them around. And I know he's proud because he's like, he did this. And, like, he'll show them this. And, like, this is all the smokers and all this stuff. And so.
What is, so you won I'm not exactly sure what year, the Jack Daniels?
So my dad won the
Cup?
Jack Daniels.
Your
Yeah.
dad.
Like, yeah. So it's kind of like a family barbecue team. So my dad was doing competitions and then I would do the kill truck at our meat plant before this was open. And so I would do that on Fridays. He would leave to go to a contest. Contests are Friday, Saturdays. And so he would go ahead and leave, do that. And then if it was close enough, I would leave on Friday as soon as the kill truck came in. Then I would go meet him and we would do the contest and stuff like that.
So at what age did your dad get you, like, super into barbecuing? And just meat
So
in general?
I remember so it kind of goes back to butchering. So my dad was a butcher his whole life since he was 14. And I remember standing on 2 milk crates, throwing bull meat into an open top Hobart grinder in a grocery store. And it kind of started from that to my grandparents. I was 5. I remember stoking fires and my grandpa teaching me airflow and fire management and stuff at like 7 years old over there. And then he started competing in 2006. So I was 16 and I started going to him and stuff like that. And I kind of fell back in love with it, I guess you could say. Or he was like the mad scientist and my grandpa was like the old school cook guy. And so my dad knew so much about meat and everything like that there's a whole different avenue that I was able to learn and just soak up like a sponge. And
Is there anything that surprised you about owning a restaurant since you've owned one?
I mean, growing up, because so my parents got divorced when I was 6, and so I lived with my grandparents. So I literally lived in that restaurant 7 days a week, and so I knew it took a lot of time away from you. But I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just it's a ton of time. Like, you have to be married to it. Like, if you don't love it, there's no way it'll ever work. Like, if somebody's just like, I think I want to open a restaurant because I'm gonna make $1 billion, you know what I mean? It's not the route to go. But if you love it, like truly actually love it, then I think that it can totally work for you because that's all you work for. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of time. You're dedicating basically your entire life.
Like for instance, let's say people that run like Panera Bread, they have like night bakers that like come in, and a lot of people don't realize that they're and then you kind of have a similar thing. What time how early do you get up to get started?
2:45.
2:45 in the a.m.
I'm here at 3.
At 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are only open on the weekends, right?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep.
And for those idiots out there who haven't heard about the Butcher Barbecue Stand, Friday, Saturday, Sunday from
11 to 3 or until we sell out.
Until they sell out. Yeah, so they have this. I don't know when I try to explain what you have going on out here to people who aren't barbecue people and they don't understand, and then I finally get them out here. A lot of people talk to me about the psychology of how your setup is.
Mm-hmm.
So just so you know, if you haven't been, there's a big ass long line the whole time. They're open from 11 to 3 nonstop, and they sell out. I mean, constantly, and so like, and it's not like you're shortchanging with any of the meat. You're doing a lot of the great math
Yeah.
to try and make as much money as you want. Like, and so, can you speak on any of your system?
So I'll never forget like the first couple weeks when we started selling out of food. My dad's like, "Hey man, that's just not gonna work. He can't do that in Oklahoma. Like nobody sells out of food in Oklahoma. Like the people aren't ready for that. Like you have to have food the whole
hurt
time."
some people's feelings.
Yeah, and like we were open until 8 then, and then it got into the point of like 2 years of at 3 o'clock we didn't have actually anything anybody wanted. It was like hot links and pulled pork, and so it was just like pissing off my second wave of customers that were coming in to get dinner. So it was easier to cut the head off of the snake and just so then like I just kind of dialed back the par levels a little bit and then just handled like 11-3 better than 11-8 instead of trying to piss off people.
Right. So you specialize.
Yeah, and then everybody gets mad. Not everybody, but a lot of people get mad because there's a line and everybody has a cure for it. Like, hey, put in 2 cash registers so it goes faster. But just as much as anybody that it's a bottleneck effect. So if we start pounding the kitchen, so either you wait 30 minutes in line and then you have your food within 3 to 5 minutes, or you wait in line for 20 minutes and then the kitchen will be backed up 20 minutes. So it's a catch-22 of the thing. And so it just kind of works out how we have it and hope that people understand that it's worth. And I think we under promise, and I feel like we over deliver because people look at it and go, there ain't no way. And then you get it and you're like, that shit changed my life.
You're right,
when I tell you the Twinkie dog changed my
life.
The
Twinkie Linky.
The Twinkie
It's out now. Everybody knows about it now, dude. There it is. You just dropped it.
The Twinkie Linky?
Dude, yeah. And I love that it pisses off. And there's another thing that I tell people, like, you're going to go down there and you're going to think you understand how this whole situation works. Then you're going to eat the food and you're going to be baffled.
Yeah.
And I just tell people, like, the secret is it like, it's almost like professional wrestling.
Yeah.
When it's like the secret is that you guys have culinary geniuses dressed up like fucking rednecks.
Yeah.
And it's like it's such that, like you said, that under promise over deliver, but in the most like has the most heart.
Yeah.
You know, like I went to New York City not too long ago and hated it. The people there pretty much suck. But because they weren't ready for my down home attitude.
Yeah.
And that was
kill them with kindness.
Dude, well, and like they're scared. Like they're intimidated by just our way of communicating and like in a weird place where everybody there is trying to
How you doing? Why would you ask me that?
Right.
This is gonna take 2.5 minutes.
Seriously.
I gotta catch the subway.
Dude, holding the door for somebody is strange. Like just talking in a bagel shop, but like I'm always like, dude, y'all need to come to my town, you know. And the funny thing is, the further that I try to get away from Wellston, the more Wellston grows up inside of me.
Yeah.
And people like I said, Austin, you're really confusing people with your Will Rogers down home attitude.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's this place, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's just humble beginnings, and I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. Like people tell me all the time, like, man, they say Wellston, they think of barbecue now.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's hand
that's
in hand.
Fault.
Yeah. And it's like, it's really weird because I go to the city all the time and they're like, hey, where I'm having conversations, like, what do you do for a living? I just tell people I work at a barbecue restaurant. And then like, they'll like, where are you from? Like Wellston, like, I heard there's a barbecue restaurant there. Like, I work there. Like, I don't ever want to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
you don't want to have people know that you run the
and half the time, honestly, dude, like, because people tell me, like, people talk about it all the time, and like, say there's 3 of the 5 people have like never heard of it, and I'm like, I don't even fucking want to talk about it now. That hurts my feelings because everybody else says everybody tells them about it. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna bring it up. Like, I just work at a barbecue restaurant.
I had known about the Butcher for years before I actually came here for the first time.
And it's funny, like I'll sit right here at this table having a drink with a friend or something, and then like people are standing in line, and then I hear folklore.
Yeah,
like, I heard, you know, all this crazy stuff.
Is there anything you've heard that's just blown your mind?
I read something that a friend sent me the other day that like we had won some crazy German championship. Like none of us has ever been in Germany. Somebody told a guy, I heard one time a guy tell him that we sold 1,000 slabs of ribs a day.
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel like that's something that I've heard before.
Yeah, I'm like, no, we do 120.
Like, going on 1,000.
Yeah.
Man. So, if you don't want to speak on this, that's totally cool. You just be like, nah, I don't want to get into it. But when we talk like country boy shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind talking about your the deaf guy and your mom at the other barbecue stand and that crazy situation?
Oh, my mom getting shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when I was 9, my mom got shot in the parking lot of that restaurant.
It was right across the way.
Yeah.
And like that's
It
one
was,
of the
yeah, it was, I mean, obviously detrimental to me and changed my life completely.
yeah.
So
I mean that because I'm sorry for being so crass about the whole thing, but a big part of what I try to get across is struggle being credibility
Yep.
across the board.
Yep.
And so I know that that's a traumatic thing that going through, and that it's right there
Yeah.
all the time, and that's
Yeah.
like a crazy thing. Like if I lived within 100 yards of my house that burned down,
Mm-hmm.
that would change my perspective.
Yeah,
on
when
a
I
lot of
pull in at 3 a.m. every morning, like I just picture a van sitting there. You know what I mean? Like I play it through my head, and I wasn't even here.
things.
I was in school. Yeah, it's a crazy feeling.
It's
How old were you when this went down?
Nah, I was 9.
9.
I was in 4th grade, Miss Ballinger's class.
Ballinger, yeah. Because the only memories that I have in that place is trying to get over the pool table,
Yeah.
to shoot a shot in the pool in the smoky room,
Yeah,
just like people chain smoking and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah. Back when you could smoke inside.
Hey, it was
There you go.
Always a late customer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a car in the parking lot. People pull in. It's kind of crazy.
Do you so I kind of want to know a little bit more about the podcast that you were going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what spurred you to want to do that?
Me and my best friend were just gonna have people over from our childhood, and the main focus for us was just to be a fly on the wall. Like if you're just having a conversation, like having a beer with a buddy that you hadn't talked to in a long time, and being a fly on the wall and recording that conversation. So we would have friends that moved to Colorado we hadn't talked to in 5 years, and like first thing they do get in town, like get them in the house, put a mic on them. Friends that had we have a friend that's a professional gamer, and friends that we had a buddy that was on a NASCAR pit crew. Just, and I felt like I've made a lot of friends that have like crazy jobs. I like a shitty version of Mike Rowe, version of, you know what I mean? Like not dirty jobs, but like crazy jobs of
people.
Yeah. Just like
you come from like a quote unquote like dirtier place.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
dirt roads,
dirty,
bro.
but there's a lot of dirt roads out here.
Yeah. That's tell off canter story, but like, one of the crazy things was when this wasn't always enclosed, it was outdoor seating, and I was talking to a guy, and he'd seen me, and I was cleaning a table up or something like that, and he comes over to me, and he's like, "This place is awesome, man. Thank you." He's like, "I've never seen a place like this in my life." And I was like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "That right over there," and he's pointing, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "That dirt road." He goes, "I've never seen a dirt road in my life." He goes, "A tractor just drove down that." He goes, "Where the fuck can you eat good barbecue? Look to your left, and there be a tractor on a dirt road." He goes, "This place," and I've never seen that before in my life.
Did he not like?
He's from Oklahoma
drive
City.
here?
Like, bro, he literally said that he'd never seen a dirt road in his life. He thought that was the coolest shit, that there was a dirt road right there. He's like, "How far does it go?" Like it was never ending. Like about a mile to the sewer pond road, and that's where we go mudding.
That is so funny. Oh man. Okay. So you're up here at 3 a.m. Trucks come, bring the stuff. You do all the carving, or you got.
Yeah, well, I got a really good kid right now that after a year I've put a knife in his hand. But yeah, I mean, up until probably a year ago, I touched every single brisket. I mean, literally every single thing that came to those smokers.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of dead animals. Every time I go fishing and there's a cow in the field, I'm like, they know what I do.
I'm sorry, dude. Don't tell.
Sorry about your uncle. He was tasty.
I remember when we were workshopping ideas of funny stuff for because you have the coolest party every year.
What about that?
Well, I mean, for as far as this town is concerned, and what's the comparison? Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
You know, have some stuff, but you you do this big giving back thing, right?
Oh, the birthday bash.
Birthday bash.
Yeah.
And then, well, not only that, like your parties in general are just like pretty rad. Like,
Yeah.
Wait, do you force the entire town to get together to celebrate your birthday?
I don't force them, but I mean,
and it's more.
dude,
than
here's the thing.
town,
I
dude.
grew up in a small town, but I listened to like emo music, and you know what I mean, and like all my friends had tattoos and neck tattoos, and
Small
then
town
you live,
rejects.
then like skating, and we were the BMX guys and the motocross guys, and it was like most of my friends all drank and did drugs in high school, and
real close to being juggalos.
yeah.
Real
But we didn't
close.
put up with that shit.
Those fucking losers.
And so it was kind of funny growing up with that mentality. I mean, I got popped for graffiti and just like all kinds of shit. We were always in trouble. And growing up here and like always the heat on my group of friends, and then becoming like an upstanding citizen business owner, you know what I mean? But like I'm still the same person. And so like I do fucking burnouts in my restaurant, and you know what I mean? Like all my friends come in and like are still tatted from the ear down and shit like that. But they get first rights over these assholes that like think that like because you got money and stature, and it's like no, you know what I mean? Like they'll walk to the back, grab a beer out of the back cooler, and walk up front. Everybody's like, "What the?"
Oh yeah, it looks like some hard dude, and they are. It's not like they're playing. Like you are friends with some hard dudes.
Well, he mentioned doing burnouts in your restaurant.
Yeah,
there's
quite
marks literally
on the floor.
tire marks.
Yeah.
On the floor
who was
underneath the tables. In here.
Yeah, my buddy,
That was that pit crew guy. Right?
my club brother Michael came, and he had this Mercury Capri, and he was like, "Dude, I'd love to do burnouts in that restaurant." And I was like, "You think you can cut a donut?" And he was like, "I think I could get it." And so we pushed all the tables out of the way after service on a Sunday, and he cut like 3 or 4 donuts inside the middle of the restaurant. But it's like that.
The amount of trust that takes.
Yeah, well,
is insane.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, my insurance guy wasn't happy, but the thing was, it's that whole like I don't live a cookie cutter life, and I'm kind of like I don't give a fuck. Like people told me like this won't work, and it's like it fucking worked, and then it's like, well, you can't do that because like I'm like, well, I'm kind of breaking the rules every day of how food service industry works, and so
You pretty much own this town. I don't know if you know that.
No.
But I've driven around Wellston.
No.
This is the nicest place in Wellston.
Well, it's the only restaurant. Well, there's Subway, dude.
This is the nicest place in Wellston.
It's still kind of shitty though.
I won't comment.
No, Wellston's got some secret money hiding out here.
I love Wellston. I mean, this is home for me. I mean, that's why this motherfucker's here, because like I wouldn't want it anywhere else, and I wish that I could build 3 more fucking restaurants that everybody else would come to and love, and I wish more of the locals came here and like enjoyed this place with me, because when I built it, I literally told her like I'm not building this for me, I'm building this for you. And I had, dude, I mean, if I had a load of rock and I could make a phone call from a local guy that owned the tire store and he had a skid steer, he'd drop the skid steer off for me and like let me use it. And it like the community literally fucking built this place and for nothing and never asked for anything in return. And I have to say, like, to this day, I'm still, and so that's why we do the birthday bash. It's like I come up with this idea to like just throw a party for them and not for me. And I literally would spend thousands of dollars, like a lot of money.
How many chicken wings for one of them parties?
We did, I think the first year we did 1,500 pounds of chicken wings, and the next year we did 2,000 pounds of chicken wings for free. Just come and eat whatever you want. Had live bands, shirts, bouncy houses. I mean, like just whatever I could do. And I never asked for it. I didn't put a donation bucket out. It was just like, thanks. And then I would buy probably $2,000 worth of Yeti shit, and I would just give it away. I bought a $2,500 grill one year, probably $2,000 in Yeti shit, and just gave it away. And it's just like a thanks. You know what I mean? But like going back to the restaurant part, it's like when I wake up in the morning and I look at my kids and my wife and I walk through my house and I go, if I fuck up, all this is gone. And so and then when I look at, I have 9 employees and I look at their lives and the things that they're doing, I'm like, well, I'm also in charge of that shit. And so I take all that and I carry it around on my back and go, if that rib fucking sucks, put it in the trash. Like, because we can do better than that. You know, we can do better than that. So it's worth throwing that rib in the trash and not serving it because you're not going to get a second chance at first impressions. And so I'm super, super anal about that's my livelihood and that's your livelihood if you're going to stay here. It's 100% it.
It's what you've been doing your whole life. Pretty much.
That's all I know how to do. I tell people if it walks on 4 legs and shits through fur, I can cut it up with a knife and cook it.
Dude, I remember working, and the first few weeks are jarring and I worked in some hard kitchens too, bro. Like I worked, and then I was like, no, this is different than just a kitchen. This is like, and that's why I say it's like, no, you have some culinary artists back here disguised as something, and then the magic comes out, and so I remember seeing you pull out a piece, look at it, and be like, nope, boom, and then me being like, that looked really delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're like, and you being just as mad as me, but then more so because you're taking the hit on the money and it's not your best. So it's like your pride and your dollar you just tossed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took me a while to really get it that you're how it's your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of it is your heart. And so like, whenever people ask you like, hey, when are you going to open up another one around here? It's not a stretch for me to be like, you want him to cut his heart in half and put part of his heart over here. Mm-hmm. Good luck, y'all. Like, it's because this is oozing with heart.
Yeah, it's turned into like one of my buddies calls it a Disney ride because like people get in their car and they're from Edmond and they hear the folklore and then it's like we get to drive down 66 for an hour and they get here. They got to get here early and then they get here and they're like, shit, there's 85 people already there. And then they stand in line and then the guy in front of them is like, I've been here 10 times. The shit's the best. And the person behind them hasn't ever been there. Then they get to make friends and then they get to stand in line with them for 45 minutes. And it's like, here it comes. And then, you know what I mean? And if I don't deliver that oh wow moment, that oh shit moment, then the whole thing is over. And so like, that's my job.
I had it immediately.
That's awesome.
As soon as you set it down, the Twinkie Linky.
Yeah.
Back to the Twinkie Linky.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Because like
everything else was really good.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably pretty upset I keep bringing up the Twinkie Linky. When the ribs were phenomenal, the brisket was great, everying was really good. But
it's like knowing how much work
it's like
everything else and how
goddamn Twinkie. The one fucking thing we don't cook or have anything to do with.
Like, you're like, I
should have went with Rice Krispie treats. Damn it!
It's just the combination of like such weird things and how it works.
It's not fair, man.
Yeah,
it's really and the creativity. Yeah, I want to talk about your catering game because like the whole other secret superpowers that
you fed the governor a couple times.
I did get to feed the governor a couple of times. And I wouldn't have got to do that without. I mean, what are we, dude?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is life?
Do you have quite a few high-profile people that visit here?
I don't know. I know that like some of them sneak and like will sit in the car and then they'll tweet about it later. Sam Bradford used to come over all the time, and I remember he came up like it was later in the day. They'd called it in, and then they came up and got the food. I'm like, that guy looks super familiar. I'm not like into football or anything, and I was like, that guy looks really familiar. And he come back up and like asked for something like toothpicks or some shit. And I'm like, hey man, do you hang out with Ray and Rich? Like a couple of my buddies. And I'm like, go to Edna's and shit. Like I think I've seen you around. And he was like, no, man, I think I just got one of those faces. And I was like, oh okay. He's like, I don't know them. And I was like, all right. He goes, sits back down. He ended up coming back up for something else. And somebody's like, dude, I think that's Sam Bradford. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And so I Googled it and I'm like, yeah, he's 6'6" or 7 or whatever. And he comes back. I'm like, hey man, are you Sam Bradford? And he's like, maybe. He's like, do you want me to be? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like I was just asking, like, you know what I mean? And he's like,
fed you.
Yeah. And he had his hoodie up and like had the strings pulled tight and it ended up being him. I know him. I know a bunch of the Thunder guys have come through. I actually made fun of a Thunder player. This is how fucking oblivious I am to sports. This fucking guy, we just got him from the Lakers. This was last year. A really good friend of mine, Wilson Taylor, works for the Thunder.
Love Wilson.
Yeah.
Dude.
And so this guy, he's like...
Mike Muscala?
I don't know. He's a white guy. Got him from the Lakers. He's like 6'10", 6'11", right? And the whole... Like Cooper, like he's like, bro, this guy's fucking tall as shit. And he comes up and like I'm 6'6", and so I get the whole like, I bet you play basketball in high school. You know what I mean? All the fucking time.
Same.
And so he's up at the counter and I'm like, Cooper was like, I'll fucking float you $20. You guess how tall that motherfucker is in front of the guy, right? And he goes, bet. And he goes, I was like, what's your guess? He goes, 6'9". I'm like, I bet he's 6'11". And I was like, hey man, how tall are you? And he's like 6'10" or 6'11", whatever he said he was. And I was like, I bet you get a lot of that. Bet you played high school in basketball. Like, did the fucking funny voice and everything to him or whatever. He's like, yeah, I do get that a lot. I'm like, that's cool, man. I was like, well, I appreciate you. And then I was like, Cooper, you owe me $20. And then so I took Cooper's $20, went to the back. I'm working. I get a text from Wellston. He goes, hey, man, one of the Thunder guys just came through. He fucking loves your shit. And I was like, was he a tall white guy? I was like, I made fun of him in front of his face.
No, Moose is the best, man. He's such a kind human being.
Yeah, no, he was super nice. Yeah, and he's been up a couple more times since then.
And he's still in the Thunder, man. Still playing.
That's cool.
Dude, we used to get into some funny stuff. Like, because one thing that happens up at this window up here is everybody's always asking for the owner, and then two, people think that it's your dad.
Yeah,
and so like they'll come in, they'll be like, "Is David here?"
Yeah,
and then they'll be asking all sorts of questions. But this one particular time, you had some distant cousins.
Yeah.
You remember what?
Yeah, no, I tell a story all the time.
Oh yeah, how do you?
Yeah.
Go
well, no,
ahead.
I was just saying, like, so they come up and they're like, they're asking for me or whatever at the front window, and I knew what was coming, and they're like, yeah, we're cousins. Never fucking heard of them in my life. And they come up to the window, and then they come up and they go to Austin, and they go, they're like, you Levi? And I look at Austin, I'm like, fucking take it. And he's like, yeah, man, I ain't seen your ass in so long. And like, he just starts making up cousins' names and shit. And like, oh yeah, I ain't seen Deborah in I don't know how long. And like, bro, I swear to God, I don't know if you took pictures with him, but he could have went out front, took family photos with him, and they had no idea who I was.
Again, you're 6'6".
So,
yeah.
Austin's not.
I'm 5'10" and some change. If there's a girl, I'm 5'11".
Yeah.
But
and on Tinder, you're 6 foot.
What actually I remember the thing was is they leaned into the window and they asked me if I was a Bouska.
That's it. Yeah. They go a Bouska. Yeah.
They were like, "Are you a Bouska?" And then I leaned back and he's at the cutting table, at the chopping table, and I was like, "Hey guys, they're looking for a Bouska." And he was like, "You're a Bouska." And then I leaned back and I went, "I'm a Bouska." And so just because I love saying Bouska so many times, it was the greatest. And then straight up went out, got to a whole song and dance, and
man, yeah.
And then the older guy, he told me about. He said that he used to lay bricks with my great granddad. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh my God, it's you! Are you?" How long you been laying bricks? He's like, "Oh, I still been laying bricks." I was like, "Well, of course you are. Look at how strong you are, old man."
Yeah.
And for those that didn't know, Austin over here used to work for the butcher.
Right. Yeah. You haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I was your voice of the butcher barbecue stand. And I got to. Man, this is. Absolutely. If I had a better car, I would probably. And also wasn't such a raging alcoholic. That was slight part of my problem. It's hard to drive from Edmond to Wellston whenever you have a breathalyzer in your car and your license is taken away and your car's breaking down. You don't have any money because I'm a fucking degenerate. Anyway, I got 13 months.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm super proud of you. Seriously, I'm super proud of you.
Bro,
seriously.
Thank you so much. But this is the hardest, craziest thing I ever did do. And man, things done change.
I talk about you a lot, and you're still a really big part of my life, whether you think about it or not. And
Dude,
everybody here still talks about you, and literally, there's never been a bad word said about you, and everybody's super proud of you. And seriously, because I mean, probably don't want to fucking air out laundry here, but
do it. It's all good.
This is the place.
Like we seen the demise, and so everybody's like, I'm like, dude, he's lost so much fucking weight. He's rock climbing. He's clean as fuck, and like,
dude,
we're all just super happy.
Okay. I was a constant. I had a severe drinking problem, and then white knuckling my way through life at all times, and all of my problems were alcohol caused, and then all my solutions were alcohol based, and I didn't have any other way of getting around any of it. It was like, the fact that you had so much grace with me in that time, and letting me go as far as I did, man, you really you helped me realize that like it's nobody else's fault, man. And if anybody else is out there and needs some help, man, get some fucking help.
Absolutely.
There's a better life to live. Holy cow. And I learned that the drinking was holding down so much of the good,
Mm-hmm.
and it was holding down everything. It was like, there's so much going on in my head all the time. And so like to be able to learn how to cope on things, and because like you saw me just maintaining drinking for the most part, and then a couple good fucked ups,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't see the aftermath later when it just kept going
Mhm.
and it just never stopped.
Yeah.
And so dude, it was a turning point here, because I knew that you did so much for me as far as like having a platform and confidence. Because to be able to come out in the morning and do that opening, and you just like have like trusting me with that, like we're gonna do some funny shit, and then you're like, do the thing, and then getting everybody pumped up and believing in me to go talk to strangers, even when I was like in a dark place.
Every week, people still ask about you.
Dude, well, tell them I love them. But anyway, I don't want to make this anymore about me. Let's get back onto your stuff. I appreciate that. So the other cool note, I remember we met JR, and
Oh God.
so you got an interesting guy on your staff named Joe.
Yeah.
So let's how'd Joe handle JR? And who the
Dude,
fuck
so
is
we
JR?
all, I think we all grew up as wrestling fans, and so we went to
And
it's like a food show. They call it food shows.
Mid '90s to late '90s wrestling.
Yeah. And so we went to this food show, and JR is from Oklahoma, and he has a barbecue sauce company, and he used to have a restaurant here in Norman. I don't think it's open anymore. He's got barbecue cookbooks, and
It's JR. What's it?
I think it's just called JR's.
Yeah. JR. Anyway, if you're not a wrestling fan, he's that cowboy hat guy who's got that lazy.
The announcer that's been on there forever, since the dawn of time.
Yeah, we're just wrestling JR. Yell it into Siri.
So we were walking by one day, and he had this booth set up at this food show, and we were walking by, and I think me and Austin like walked on past or whatever, because there was a free alcohol booth or some shit.
Buddy.
And so we were down there, and Joe's like, "Hey man, I think that's JR. A guy looks like." And I walked past him. I was like, "No, that's JR," and he was like, "What?"
Joe does do that.
And he's like, "I was like, you want to meet him?" And then Dustin Crenshaw was with us, and he walks up, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you should go say hi to him." And Joe just starts fucking trembling. He's like, "I can't talk to him, man. Like, there's no way we can go talk to him." And we walk up, and we're all wearing Butcher Barbecue stand shit or whatever. And there's like a chick, which I'm guessing is like his manager, because I almost said some really bad shit publicly, but like he needs somebody to help him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there was a lady there, and then she starts talking mad shit about, not mad shit, like, oh, these are the fucking guys.
She's talking.
JR, this is the fucking guys that cook real barbecue.
You got these shirts on.
She's like, these are the real barbecue guys. These are the guys that really do it, and like just like shitting on him. And then like she's like, I think she gave him a hug, or like gave me a hug Joe or whatever. I was like, we got to go out there and stuff like that. And then like, you boys want barbecue sauce? And she was like, no, fuck that. Like they have a whole line. Like,
do you want barbecue sauce?
Yeah, like it was like this crazy deal, and I was like, do you want a picture with us? So then we took a picture with JR, dude.
JR took a picture with you guys.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Now, you seriously, while we're still on it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a funny thing that I did whenever we were catering the governor's mansion. You weren't on this one. It was me and Joe, and that was when they did the memorial run thing. And so essentially what Governor Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma said is that, I guess in his relay team for their marathon, any other relay teams that beats his, he was going to buy or treat them to barbecue. Well, it was our freaking barbecue.
Yeah.
So like we get to roll out there and do this catering, and like we're in this like the back room, the ballroom, I guess, where they have those events, and Levi's always good to send us with like koozies and stickers and a few other things. So I did a thing.
Did you tag the Oval Office?
In the bathroom underneath the toilet, probably underneath the urinal. We're in a spot where like you could easily just slip down underneath and pop. Hopefully, there's still a Butcher
That's
Barbecue
hilarious.
stand. It's either a 0% vegan sticker or an actual logo.
That's hilarious.
Sticker. That's
He came out here to eat one time and someone was like, "Hey, the governor wants to talk to you." I was like, "Well, I'm busy," and I was like, "Tell him to give me a minute." And I was cutting because I literally this is my livelihood.
Yeah.
And so I finished cutting
and this
and
guy just takes his cut from your money.
and so they stood in line, did the deal. He comes out, and I knew a bunch of the guys he was with and stuff. And I came out, introduced myself and stuff like that. And I was like, he's some of these a table full of like very important people. And I was like, "Where are you?" I was like, "You're from Tulsa, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I was like, you like Burnco and the guys up there, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I really like going by there." And I was like, "Well, this conversation's over, man." And I just give him a hard time, and then I asked him. I was like, "Are you allowed to?" I was like, "You want a fucking beer or something, dude?" I was like, "Let's kick it." And I was like, "Wait, are you allowed to fucking?"
They had like all the Oklahoma Secret Service.
Yeah,
guys
I was like, "Are you
too.
allowed to even drink?" And he was like, He's like, "Nah, around the voting people or whatever." And it was like he was super humble. He was super nice guy. Came to the back, took some pictures with us, kind of looked at everything, and he was super nice. And then we've done a lot of things for them since then. And
so I kind of want to know. I have something a little off topic here. We're coming out of COVID now, pretty much, getting past those 2 years where it was controlling everybody's lives. What kind of impact did it have on the butcher stand?
The same way I deal with everything and say, "Fuck it, I'm doing whatever I want." Dude, I have 9 guys that literally depend on me, and I watch restaurants fold within a week, and we're closing. I'm like, fuck, I got a light bill. Do you guys not have a light bill? Do you not have gas bill? Do you not have to put food on your table? Do you not have employees you have to take care of? And so I took the polar opposite, and I hired 3 more people.
Whoa.
And we built the health department closed down our inside, which there was nothing we could do about that. And we called it a Hick-fil-A line. And so we did this giant fucking drive-through thing, and I had 2 runners with food. I had 2 or 3 guys taking orders outside, and I have a kid run a ticket in. We would cut the ticket and have the car pull up, and we write what kind of car it is, and we'd run it back out to him. And I never closed ever through the whole deal. And I had friends that I hired, and I had a kid that used to work for me when he was in high school as a dishwasher. He was working at a Bricktown brewery, and they laid him off. And I called him, and I was like, "Cooper," I was like, "Come take orders for me." He was a waiter up there, and he came here, and I remember we had to do that for 4 weeks, and after that. We were able to open the inside. I was like, "Hey man, just come inside. You can still do the same thing, front of house stuff." And he was like, "Hey man, Bricktown called me back and wanted my job back, or offered me my job back." And I was like, "What'd you tell him?" And I told him, "Go fuck yourself, because you fired me when I needed it more than anything else." And so I was like, "So you're staying?" He was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm gonna stay." And so he's my front of house guy now. And
you guys have a great culture here.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to genuinely, if not love, like each other at least.
I try and build a family. That's my thing. Is if I spend more time with these guys than my wife and my kids, then I have to be able to get along with everybody, and everybody has to get along with everybody else. And I treat my employees really well, and we try and go on trips. And
let's talk about a barbecue crawl.
Yeah.
What's a barbecue crawl?
Yeah. So we did barbecue crawls. We'll go to Dallas and stuff and spend 2-3 days, and I'll rent hotels, and we'll just eat fucking barbecue for 2-3 days and come back home. And
that sounds like heaven.
Yeah.
Dude,
have you found a place that you envy a little for something they're doing that you
dude,
may
man,
not be doing?
So attention to detail in Texas, those guys are at Cutthroat all the time. And a good friend of mine has a burnt bean company down in Texas, and we were on spring break last year, and it was a little bit out of the way, but I was like, I got to go to this place while we're down this far south. We went by there, and it was a holy shit moment for me. It's the best barbecue I ever had, literally ever.
What's
and he's
it called
doing
again?
It's Burnt Bean Company.
Burnt bean.
Yep. Ernest Cervantes is his name. And I look up to guys like that. You know what I mean? The guys that are just the attention to detail those guys take. And I know how much work mine takes, and I probably give 60% of what they're paying attention to. And those guys are not motherfucking sleeping. They're sleeping next to their pits, and they're petting them, and then washing them. You know what I mean? I know when I eat that, like, how much love and it, like, they're giving their souls away. I mean,
yeah. On that, like, one of the things that I love so much about the barbecue world is that the competition side of things, it's the restaurants, and when people talk about getting into it, I love your attitude, and you're like, you think you could do this? Because like, how many backyard barbecue geniuses do you think you have coming in here trying to give advice?
tons, like, and I'm nice to everybody. Unless they're mean to me, then I'm like, dude, I forgot more about barbecue and you fucking never know. But
the go ahead and try it attitude, I fucking love that.
But like, also, like, hey man, open a place, I'll come and I'll love it and I'll post about it. Like, this thing is like, me and my wife love barbecue. I'm never here to shit on a place. Like, there's a place opens in Oklahoma City, like, we go to it immediately and we go 2-3 times, and like, I'm trying to build this, like, what Texas has, like, all these guys like love each other, and like Adam Green from Max Barbecue, like, he's one of my homies. Travis Clark in Oklahoma City, like, he's a homie, and like, it's just like we get, like, what's the old saying, the iron sharpens iron, and so it's just like, there's no reason to, don't look at me with a target on my back. Like, we're fighting the same motherfucking battle in a weird way,
against,
you know,
cows.
Yeah. Fuck all of them, kill all of them. But I mean, that's my thing. Is like, that's why barbecue is beautiful to me. It's just like, if I gave you a Betty Crocker cake mix box, I gave him the one and I have one, and we have the same instructions. Guess what? We have 3 motherfucking different cakes, no matter how I tell you or whatever I do. And so if I come to your house and like, hey man, I'm going to cook us steaks, you might do some crazy shit that I've never had or overcook it or whatever. I'm going to sit down and tell you it's the best goddamn steak I ever had in my life, or it's a great steak, because that's how you cook it. And so every barbecue restaurant is that to me. It's like, I don't go in going, well, they have 80% too much fat on the blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? They don't have enough salt here. And it's like, fuck you. Like, that's how that guy does it. And like that. So I completely respect the process and what they do, because that's that guy's barbecue. When you go next door and then you find your favorite, and then just don't go to the places you don't like, you know what I mean? But there's no reason to shit on them. Like, there's so much time and effort in any barbecue restaurant. I don't care what they're doing. And so that's why I love it so much, is just because like, it's so unique to the individuality of the person and the owner. It's like, that's what they do. And so I don't know, man. Like, I don't hate any barbecue restaurant, and I've never ate bad barbecue. That's why I tell people all the time, like, what's the worst you ever had? I'm like, I've never had bad barbecue. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because that's how they want it. Now, like, who am I to say that like that's bad?
No, you're completely right. Now, we've talked a lot about barbecue. I want to know a little bit about what else you kind of prefer food wise other than barbecue. What is there anything that hits the spot similarly?
I'm an ambiance, like I'll pick restaurants on, is the fucking place cool, more than the food. Like, if I can go have a cocktail and like just vibe and like have a cool place, I almost pick places out of that more than the food. I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not a snob, but like I love everything. Yeah. Like, because I look at Italian food that way. Like, you got some guy making linguine noodles or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, I love some of the best food I've ever had out of a fucking cow trailer in Breckenridge, and these guys throwing down on fucking uni pizzas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote a big deal on my Instagram about it. Like, these guys, you don't have to have a $2 million restaurant to do what you love. It's just like, you have to find the respect of the people and the people that respect the process to what you do, and then you cater to those individuals. And it's not about $1 million. It's not about anything. It's like, it's literally, it's a passion. It's a passion project. Like, to me, that's what a restaurant should be for anybody that likes food.
Okay. That was an absolute incredible answer. Goddamn. I was just going to ask you, because of the, just another fun question as we're getting down to the last final 10 minutes of this game.
Flies.
Right, dude? If you could go back and tell the 13-year-old version of you anything, you just bump into 13-year-old you, what are you going to tell that kid?
Man, I don't know.
Just think about what you were doing, where you were at, what life is like.
13.
It's 2003?
2003. Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't change a motherfucking thing.
You wouldn't tell yourself anything?
Maybe your mom not to go to the store that day
That was
in 2006.
that was
1999.
that was
Oh, I thought that was 2006.
no. So just you don't have to give yourself any like
Pull
advice.
out. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know, dude. Like honestly, I don't know. Nothing. Literally nothing. Like I feel like I loved as much as I could love, and I regret nothing I've ever done.
Essentially, what I'm hearing is you step out of that time machine, you look at yourself, you're like, he's gonna be all right.
Yeah, not when I was 13, I didn't think I was going to be all right. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew, I honestly, that young, I remember saying I never wanted to work for anybody. And I remember saying I wanted to own a sports bar where you piss in a urinal and there was like the racetrack deal with the horses and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, awesome. I remember that being a goal when I was a kid. And I just remember going like, I'm not going to fucking sit in a cubicle and make some other guy richer and happier. And so as cliche as whatever the fuck you want to say, but like just follow your dreams. Like if you believe in it, fucking do it. And it's the scariest goddamn thing you'll ever do in your life. And dude, I was 24 years old. I just got divorced. I was making $300 a week, cutting meat for my dad, and it was just like, fuck it. Like I just want to do something else. And so I'm telling my 32-year-old self that now. It's like there's other shit I want to do, and I'm like, I don't know. And it's like, hey man, just fucking jump. So
that's really fucking beautiful.
What's weird is I have a memory from a long time ago where I'm pretty sure I went to one of your barbecue competitions here locally. I want to say you guys were there. It was in Midwest City at like the parking lot
Club.
Of like a Sam's or
Club.
Walmart.
Yeah, we were there. It was when the Sam's Club did they tried to break off and do like their own tournament style deal. Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was 110 degrees outside, and I actually put a piece of meat on the asphalt in front of Sam's, and it sizzled. And I went to Steak and Shake after that, got a milkshake, and I got sick as fuck because I was like, dairy and milk was a bad choice because I was so hot. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Like, so we should probably say that we have a weird tie.
Yeah,
like
back in the day. Yeah,
out of nowhere, completely bizarre. So I'm Austin Slaughter. This is Austin Yu.
It only took us 50 minutes into the podcast to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, they'll be able to read up on. I mean, if you didn't see it in the link, I don't know how you got here, you jackass. But anyway, yeah, I know Levi from growing up in this small town, and I know Austin from doing comedy and performing at the dispensary that he works at. He's now a partner and roommate. And then way before any of all this crap happens,
our dads worked together. Your dad was my dad's boss.
Yeah, I guess technically.
Your dad was GM of a store. My dad was over the meat market, flowers, and bakery.
Yeah, I don't remember too much, but I know you and I went to some Christmas parties.
We definitely
together.
Went to some Sam's Christmas parties for sure.
So I was sitting on Santa's lap in the Golden Corral, man.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect
100%.
Christmas.
Yep.
Another fun connection that we had was through our buddy Dan. Whenever I had a side gig one time of salting deer hides.
Oh God, that's the craziest one, dude. Because like, how far? Like,
I was,
jeez.
Because like, you know me, I'm a long-winded storytelling guy who's been through some shit, and like, I kind of tend to ramble and not know what the poignant parts of stories are, and then I notice when other people react that that's where the spectrum thing lies for your boy here. We're like, okay, move on that. Human stuff. And so I was telling a story about putting these hides out and salting these deer hides and rubbing it all in. And, you know, that like sometimes the deer hide still had testicles attached to them. And I was working for this guy named Dan who had a purple face. And that's when you were like, what?
Yeah.
How does just...
So we used to have a deer processing plant, and this guy would pay us 25 cents for a small hide, 50 cents for a big hide. And we did business with him for 5 years. We had to save all the hides for him, and he would buy them from us, and then he had a contract with Wolverine Gloves to make deer hide gloves, and he would drive to Kansas, but he would cure all of them. And I mean, it had to be the nastiest job. But the guy had an iron deficiency or something like that.
So actually, what his thing was, it was a silver poison.
Silver poisoning. That's what it was.
So he
literally looked dead all the time. He took purple.
If you look up colloidal silver, it's a liquid silver supplement that's supposed to be a really natural, good whatever, supplement to take. But if you overdo it, it will cause your skin to turn purple
He was
and blue.
purple.
Yeah, and he looked like a corpse. It was terrible, and he was a real
Slow,
talking guy.
Yeah.
And it was just.
They write me a check for
So
$65 and fuck off. And little did I know, Austin was gagging maggots and fucking throwing salt on his hides for another 10 cents per hide.
Dude, because we get started so early in the morning before you could smell anything.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, "You're gonna want to get done before noon."
Yeah. Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah, but has man. So, what was the hardest part? The hardest part, because struggle equals credibility, and you have so much credibility. As far as, how do you deal with struggle, and where are some of the heavy ones that hit throughout?
The hardest part, honestly, is like thinking if people are going to show up the next day. Like that's the hardest pill, and like the hardest part for me is like it all looks good and fun from outside, and everything's fine. Like the restaurant's fine, and we're paying bills and all that shit. But it's just like, to me, still to this day, 7 years in, I'm like, fuck. Like I have that what do they call it? It's something imposter syndrome.
Oh, I feel that, bro.
And so it's just like it's not real. Like I think I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, and then it's like it's all over. You know what I mean? Like I never expect anybody to show up, and then like when I look outside and there's like 9 a.m. and there's 4 people here or whatever, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like people are showing up today.
All right, we're gonna at least make this.
Yeah. It's just like so. It's a lot of that. Like I think that's a really hard part. Employees are honestly like it's a hard thing of like bringing in new people and stuff like that. But I mean,
yeah, a lot of people think that you have like 30 people working for you.
Yeah, no, I used to run this fucking place with 3 people for 4.5 years, 5 years.
Yeah,
Me,
when I came on, I was like the
fifth, sixth. Yeah, we're like overstaffed right now, trying to gear up for 2022 because I have a food trailer and shit now. And so,
dude, I've been seeing the food trailer.
Yeah.
So how's that going to go down? Where that's
tell us a little bit about the food trailer.
So I'm kind of getting like mildly nitpicky about it. I'm kind of picking and choosing what I want to do right now. I know we're going to be at Calf Fry. I'm going to go to Ho Chi Town once a month, and we'll be set up at Ho Chi Town at a Bendigo's on 259 in the summer. I put in my application for Herd on Herd. Hopefully we get that. But yeah, nothing too crazy ambitious. We're just trying to do what we do, but not do things that aren't on the menu. So we'll do like honey rib tips. We'll probably do wings. I'll probably do bacon burn-ins, shit that people can't get here. That's still us.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Even more exclusive. So final few minutes here. I do want to say you actually do have people lining up at the door at 9 a.m. waiting for you to open at 11.
8 in the summer.
What about Father's Day? Let's talk about Father's Day real quick.
Father's Day is crazy. Yeah, it's the craziest.
So what do you suggest for people that are just now hearing about the Butcher Barbecue stand and they want to come visit? What would you suggest they do for their first time? What time should they show up?
Come on Sundays, bring a 6-pack of beer, hang out, and make friends with everybody in line. Because like those people, I've met people in Texas that I still have communication with, and we talk about meeting up again. And so like just make friends, you know what I mean? Like this is my backyard, this is my house, and I just want people to have a great time, like all in all. And so it's a front to beginning thing. It's like the sale's done when they come back again to me forever. And so I like Sundays. To me, like Sundays are always like the best day here because like sometimes it's not super busy, and for some reason the food to me is always better on Sunday. I don't know. It's like a weird thing. When I'm cutting, I'm like, God damn, the briskets are always good on Sunday. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sunday's like my sleeper day. I don't know. Yeah, man, like you don't have to get here crazy early. I mean, you can get here at 10:30, but just embrace you're going to have to wait. But if you go to fucking Olive Garden on Saturday night, guess what? You walk in, it's going to tell you it's a 30-minute wait, and then you sit down, and your waiter sucks dick, and then you're going to have to wait 20 minutes for her to show up, and then it's 5 more minutes to get a tea, and then you finally get your breadstick. You know what I mean? It's all in all, you're still there an hour and a half, 2 hours, like where you can come here and people look at the line and look at it and go, fuck, I don't want to wait that long. Guess what? You're probably still in and out of here faster than you would at Texas Roadhouse.
You also cater.
Yeah, we cater.
That's pretty sick. Well, hey.
I would throw that out there.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for coming on the First
Absolutely.
episode of the Riffing Austin
Holy
podcast.
cow. Yeah, this is going to be. Can we come back and do another one?
Absolutely.
Whenever we get all of our
Famous when you get Jordan.
We'll have to do a video where we come and try all the different kinds of meat.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, absolutely.
do a taster of all the things.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Well,
I appreciate you. If you have anything you'd like to say, Mike is all yours, man. We'll give you 30 seconds. Go for it.
Just support local businesses. You know what I mean? Times like this, everybody's struggling. Employees are hard to find. Be patient. Like, the industry is crazy, crazy hard right now. Go out, enjoy yourself, and support locals.
Well, heck yeah, dude. Well, thanks for coming on. This is the Riffing Austin podcast, and we will catch you guys next time.